And today is day one of our video series about getting good information for your move to France. And so I wanted to do this video series because I see people getting a lot of bad advice out there, a lot of bad or incomplete answers to questions that they ask. And so I want to go through a couple of things with you about how to ask questions, how to get advice about moving to France, how to vet the advice, and when to know when the advice is good and fits your situation. As you may or may not already know, asking questions in France and getting good information can be kind of hard to come by. And there are a lot of reasons for that that I'm going to talk about in this video. If you ask 10 people a question, whether they're 10 people who have recently moved to France, 10 people in the prefecture, 10 people in the consulate, you're very likely to get 10 different answers. And that's because the information is very subjective based on your individual situation and the person that you're getting it from and their perspective. So if you ask a bad question or a poorly formulated question because you don't know what question you should be asking, not only may you get a bad answer, but you may get an answer that can cause you a lot of frustration. Now, in the best case scenario, you get feedback from a lot of people, and at best you suffer from some confusion, some frustration, and maybe you spend a little bit more time sorting through research. But in the worst case scenario, you could end up with your visa being rejected, you could end up with getting an unexpected tax bill, you could get the wrong kind of visa, you could have to leave France to go back to your home country to get a new visa, and there are situations where you can get in a lot of trouble, either a tax bill that you didn't expect to pay, or even a fine for doing something that you were not supposed to be doing. I've seen all of these things happen. I run the group Americans in France on Facebook, which has over 6,000 people in it. I've been helping people for 7, almost 8 years now moving to France, and when somebody gets bad advice and makes a mistake like that, it is very difficult, if not impossible, to correct. So that is my motivation in helping you ask these right questions in the first place, because I don't want that to happen to you. Now, here are a couple of things that you need to be aware of if you want to get good advice. You need to know what you know, you need to know what you don't know, and you need to be aware of what you don't know. Because a lot of times when you're formulating that question, you have a blind spot because you don't understand the ways in which things in France can be very different from the ways of doing things in your home country. And that's not your fault. And that's something that, whether you're on a Facebook group or whether you're one of my clients, that's my responsibility, is to explain to you how things work here and to get to the bottom of the question that you're actually asking. But if you're going to ask a question on a public forum like a Facebook group, then here is what you need to provide. You need to give as much information as possible. When I have clients work with me, the very first thing that we do before I even set up a discovery call with them, I send them a questionnaire that asks them their nationality, their current visa status, if they've ever had a visa, the type of visa that they have, the length of time they've been in France, what consulate or prefecture they're going to, or I ask their address so I can figure that out. Their age, their financial resources, their work situation, how long they want to stay in France, what level of French they have, if they ever want to apply for French nationality or even French residency, get a 10-year card, if anybody's going to accompany them. And those basic questions allow me to assess their visa situation, what types of visas they may be eligible for, and have an idea of whether or not I can even help them. That is the very basic, that is the minimum amount of information that I need in order to even start considering the question. And so a lot of times, I'll see people ask the questions, what visa type should I get? And without knowing all that stuff, honestly, I can't tell you. Or How long will it take my visa to be processed? Well, without all that information and knowing what consulate you're going to and what type of visa you're applying for and all of that stuff, I can't tell you. And so if you're unwilling or unable to provide a lot of those details, then it sort of becomes an issue of garbage in, garbage out. People are answering questions based on incomplete information, and if they don't know your consulate and they don't know your prefecture and they only have their own experience to deal with, they're not going to be able to help you. So, you know, I understand if you're not comfortable posting, you know, all of your personal information on a Facebook post or even sending it to email by me. But, you know, feel free to complete my free questionnaire. I'll give you the link for that to even just have a starting point. But if you're asking other types of administrative questions, you still want to provide a similarly detailed question. So if you're asking about driver's licenses, what state did you get your driver's license in? How long ago was that? What department do you live in now? What's your nationality? How long have you been in France? What's your visa type? Because all of those things come into play when we're talking about exchanging your driver's license or whether or not you have to go to French driving school. If you're talking about health insurance, then we need to know your age. We need to know what consulate you're applying through. We need to know what your work situation is, what your income is going to be. If you're talking about anything related to employment, we need to know if you're on a CDD or a CDI or a contract, if you were sponsored by an employer, or if you are part of a special work program. How did you get your work visa? Is this something that you're applying for in order to get a visa? Are you in a convention collective? Are you a cadre? What's the salary? How long have you been employed? And if it's contract or freelance, you know, do you have any other clients? Is there subordination? Is there a hierarchy? So I just want to give you an idea of the kind of detail that's required in order to get good information for your situation. And so that's one of the reasons why I really advise against crowdsourcing this information, because it can be very difficult to go into that level of detail on a Facebook group. But you know, assuming that you're asking questions in a public forum, I really don't want you to get offended by the clarifying questions, because a lot of times, you know, when I see a post in my group, I can read into that question and I can see what the questions are behind that, and I can see what information is missing and what we're going to need to know in order to get the answer that best helps you. So, you know, if you're on a group, or, you know, if you're in my group and I delete advice or tell you that it's wrong, it's not because I'm annoyed with the people or because I don't want you to get that information. It's because I only want you to get good, helpful advice. And I've seen a lot of dangerous and even illegal advice out there, and I just don't want you to fall victim to that. It always makes me think of a cartoon, you know, advice free, good advice, $2. And so in the next video, I'm going to be talking about setting expectations for what the answers can be and what kinds of things you should keep in mind when you're trying to get your questions answered. And then beyond that, we're going to look at how you vet advice people give you and whether or not you need to invest a little bit of money into getting professional advice for your move. So that's today's video. Provide as much detailed information as possible about your situation in order to avoid garbage in, garbage out. You want to get accurate, complete advice that's going to bring your dream of moving to France or bring your visa within reach. And I want to help you with that as much as possible. So consider that the next time you're asking questions about anything to do with French administration or visas, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.
Hey, this is Allison Grant Lunes. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you learned something about living in France and were inspired about pursuing your own Franceformation. Do you want to learn how you can get the right visa and create your dream life in France? Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and to the Profiles in Franceformation podcast for more inspiring stories about people who made their transformation a reality, and for more tips and tricks on how to make your transformation happen for you. If you want to learn more about what visa is right for you and how to pursue your transformation, you can check out my book, Foolproof French Visas, which goes over basically every single way that you can possibly move to France. It's available as an ebook or in paperback on Amazon, and it will help you identify the right visa for you and prepare a successful application. Or if you'd like my personal help with applying for your visa and moving to France, you can go to www.yourfranceformation.com/free-call to request a free 30-minute Franceformation clarity call with me about how I can help you to make your dream a reality and get started on helping you to move to France. Thanks again for watching, and à bientôt.